one of those my natural flows. Please, it's a room, okay? It's a room. So it's curated, but I want it to be natural. So I'll be sharing on the 3 C's of a builder. 3 C's of a builder. I said initially, I talked about one of the enemies of building anything, right? It's perfection. That idea to want to be perfect at every notch, at every hit, all right, is one of the reasons why we miss things we are not supposed to miss. But the first C of a builder that I want to share is clarity. Clarity. Now, if I ask, I'm not trying to define clarity. I believe many of us know what clarity means. You've experienced clarity at least once in your lifetime. You were probably confused. You probably didn't know what to do, and you experienced clarity. However, from my experience as a person, one of the things I've noticed about clarity is that clarity comes through motion. All right? Clarity comes through motion. It comes as a result of moving. Clarity doesn't come from thinking. Clarity comes from movement. Clarity doesn't come from thinking. Clarity comes from movement. Now, thinking actually helps you declutter, but sometimes you don't necessarily get to know what exactly you have to do until you have taken certain steps. Okay? And one of the drivers for clarity is actually curiosity. I'm still on that clarity. Curiosity. All right? One of the drivers for clarity is curiosity. That curious mind, that curiosity mindset is one of the factors to gaining clarity. Now, what is curiosity? I'm going to explain curiosity. I'm not necessarily defining terms. I'm just creating experience. I'm just explaining experience. Now, what's curiosity? Curiosity is like a coin with 2 sides. All right? Curiosity is like a coin with 2 sides. Now, on one side of curiosity is exploration. On one side of curiosity is exploration. Exploration. Now, on the other side of curiosity is learning, or let me say consistent learning. All right? So, I have said over and over again, I've said earlier, that clarity always comes through movement or motion. It doesn't come from thinking. So let me explain curiosity from the standpoint of exploration and learning. Let's talk about the exploration. In 2024, I think 2023. It should be 2023, the year before I got my 2024, December 2023. I had a clarity session online. All right, I think 2024. I had a clarity session online, and I shared in that session, December 2024. I shared on the 6 stages of development, or 3 stages of growth or development. The first stage I actually mentioned is actually the explorative phase. Now, what happens in the explorative phase? In the explorative phase actually is characterized by trying things just freely. Okay? Trying things freely. That's what exploration is about. Okay? Now, one of the things that trying things freely brings to bear is self-mastery. Now, for some of you, you have said you don't really know what to build. That is not out of place. But I can actually tell you that if you can try a number of things well enough, you'll have at least an idea of what not to build or what to build. Okay? Why? Exploration actually brings you towards self-mastery or self-awareness. Do you understand that? So the reason why you are not so self-aware is because you have not explored enough. There are things I cannot try anymore, or I'm not interested in. Why? I've passed that stage of exploration. I'm no longer in my stage of exploration. Now there are still some things like, they say learners are leaders. But the fact is that I don't learn exploratively anymore. Before, when you were younger, you probably would learn how to play keyboard. You learn how to play the drums. You learn how to sew. You learn printing press. They say go and learn everything. Many of you actually have skills you don't use today because there was a point in your life where you were explorative. But if you don't explore enough, you won't be able to come to the next phase, is the awareness or discovery phase. All right. Now, the awareness or discovery phase is when you are no longer trying to explore. You have now discovered at least one or two areas of interest that you probably want to now be driven towards. You are no longer exploring. If somebody even tells you, come and try this, you say, I'm not interested. Why? You are no longer exploring. You know, there are some courses you should not register for anymore. You don't have that time. Maybe if you are exploring. Now, listen, I'm speaking to different categories of people. There are some courses, even if you don't know whether you need it, right? The fact that you don't know the course to enroll for is an indication that you should enroll for everything. Let me say it again. The fact that you don't know the course to enroll for is an indication that you should be doing everything. Because at that phase, you are not aware. You have not discovered yourself. You are still trying to explore. So clarity comes from exploration. Exploration brings about self-awareness and self-mastery. All right. So let me also say something around clarity. You will have to fail at a number of things. All right. You will have to fail at a number of things before you know what is good enough for you. So one of the reasons why you may not have found what is good enough for you is because you've not had enough failures. As I sit here, I have actually had a failed business before. Even though I am not the serial entrepreneur, I'm a ministry person. I don't run growth programs every day. Are you getting it now? I have a brand I'm building. I'm a pastor. I have a job. I have a wife. Soon we have other things I'm doing. But I have failed at some things reasonable enough to know the things I am not to explore again. So one of the reasons why you probably have not found your areas of strength or areas of weakness is because you probably have not failed enough. Fear of failure is also one of the reasons why you may not come to full self-awareness. The fear of failure. All right? The fear of failure. If you have not failed at a number of things, you may not know the things that are good for you. Very important. Okay? So let me also add this. The more mistakes you make, the more self-aware you become. And that's the truth. The more mistakes you make, the more self-aware you become. The more mistakes you make, the more self-aware you become. The less mistakes you make, the more probable you will not discover what you are actually wired for. Do you understand? Good. So that's the first C of builders. Clarity. All right. So clarity. So I said clarity actually comes through movement. As you move, as you do stuff, you just become more self-aware. And in your curiosity, as one of the drivers towards clarity, in your curiosity to learn, to gain something, you become more self-aware. In your curiosity, you discover your failures at some things, and then you now navigate your path towards other things that actually makes more sense. All right, that's the first. The second is courage. Courage. Now, one of the things many builders or aspiring builders fail to do is to just take the step. Let me give you an example. I'm going to use PEA Growth Consults as a case study. My wife was giving an introductory speech or a welcome address earlier on, and she said that PEA Growth Consults actually was launched at my birthday in 2025. Now pay attention. I'm November born, November 12th to be precise. And there is just a way I do stuff. All right. Before I land on my story about my birthday and how I built something, I want to add something. I want to say, just take a digression. You see, your first day can be any day. Let me say that. Many times, one of the reasons why people fail to start out is because they want their first days to be a special day. January 1st, 2027, I will start. All right. Or I will launch my book on my birthday. Amazingly, the passion is not strong enough. If your birthday is December and you conceive the idea in January, right? If the passion is not strong enough, you may never launch it because you want your first day to be a special day. Now, let me also tell you something. I actually have an attitude of launching products and events or programs on special days. Proclaiming City happens to be a church I founded by the grace of God. Proclaiming City was launched January 1st, 2022. PEA Growth Consults was launched November 12th, 2025, my birthday. I launched our church January 1st. But you know one thing? I had always started those products or those brands or those institutions before the launch. So as much as it looks like I start or I launch on special days, my first days actually are not special days. Do you understand it? So taking courage or seizing the opportunity to be courageous means that you don't necessarily need a special day to start. Many people actually feel that their first day should be a special day. I can't start today. See, you can start on a Wednesday. Your first day can be a Wednesday. Your first day can be January 26th for no reason. I mean, just start, and it takes courage. Let me tell you also about PEA Growth Consults. Now, we launched November 12th. My wife said something I have been doing, all I've been doing for a long time. Before PEA Growth Consult was launched in 2025, last year, November 12th, I actually had Curated Consults. That was a graphic design brand that I was running coaching under. Do you understand it? But I needed a different platform. So rather than putting everything together, I had to separate it from Curated Consults. And then I started PEA Initiative. I actually started as PEA Initiative before we got registered. Okay? So, another thing I was scared about is, what is it I'm going to start? I want to start a coaching program, a coaching brand, and I'm a pastor. You know, there is this idea that because I'm a pastor, I owe people free advice. So I would actually feel like having to start a coaching brand that would at least allow people maybe access, entry, tokens to access will not pass. So we launched November 12th, 2025. Then we started our coaching programs, paid coaching programs in January. So January we started Growth Circle. After Growth Circle, we did a clarity and self-mastery program. The first coaching cohort we had 10 people. All of them paid. All right. Now, it was somebody actually attended, number of them attended. Somebody said it was a giveaway, but I was trying to say, can people really pay for learning? That advice that I'm giving to you, every one of you here, at one point or the other, have had interaction with me, maybe an advice that I didn't charge you for, but you are here today, and every single person sitting here actually came in through a paid access. Now, at some point, we actually have to give student support to aspiring builders. I think I need to mention that. But everybody sitting here actually came through a paid ticket. Because I said I am no longer going to coach or train or teach or mentor for free. Now that's courage. Many people actually have started, you are begging for somebody. You can't say no. Want a volunteer here, you volunteer. You give your time volunteering for people and places when that time could have been diverted into something else. All right? That time could have been diverted into something else that you could earn from or you could build a portfolio on. Do you understand now? And one last information I want to give to you. This morning, if you ask me, I can show you the list. This morning, from when we started our paid programs, January 2026, this year, till this moment, we've had 25 paying clients. And I'm not saying 25 alerts, because we've had paying clients who have actually credited us not once, not twice. Now, PEA Growth Consults is 8 months, but we've had 25 paying clients. What if I said I will start December 2026? You see that? Courage. Just start. That's just the point. Just start. If I say I'm going to start December 2026, I will not have gathered this experience. We will not be having the first edition of the Builders. It takes courage. The last point is consistency. All right? Consistency. Now, consistency, just keep showing up. Earlier when we were coming, my wife was asking when we were going to start the event and what time we're going to. I think we're going to start at the time. And I already knew 1 or 2 people who had said they were not going to be around because of reasons best known to them. All right, somebody is actually ill at the moment, and that's fine. But one of the things I found out is that it is possible to shift your commitment to your vision simply because of changes. At PEA Growth Consults, I run monthly growth classes. Now let me say something. At PEA Growth Consults, I run monthly growth classes. There are people who have enrolled in our growth classes for the whole year. There are people who have enrolled for 6 months. But some of those people, as much as they enrolled for 6 months or 1 year, they didn't attend all those sessions. But I actually showed up. Let me say it again. They paid for coaching classes and coaching sessions. But as much as they paid, there were some sessions they did not attend. But I have never missed one. Whether you attend or not, it was still going to hold. In other words, whether somebody was going to come or not, as long as we said Builders Room was going to hold, and we have set an agenda, an event flow, it was still going to hold. That's consistency. Whether the results are favorable or not. I get it. You shouldn't shift your commitment based on the attitude of people towards what you have started. People are not buying, so you stop selling. They are not the only people that are going to buy. I get it? All right. So let me wrap up with this. There is a difference between excellence and perfection. All right. There is a difference between excellence and perfection. What is excellence? I'm not defining terms in this talk, but what is excellence? Excellence is simply a mindset. All right? Excellence is a mindset. And for those who have heard me over and over again, I have a culture of saying that excellence is achievable at every level. Now, I'm going to differentiate clearly for you. I'm going to make a distinction between excellence and perfection for you in a bit. Excellence is a mindset, but perfection is the enemy of good. Perfection is the enemy of good. And I'm going to explain what that means. Now, why do people fail to start or fail to try? They want it to be perfect. But let me tell you something. This event is not perfect. But this event is good. Are you getting it? Now, many people actually wait for perfect and throw away the opportunity for good. So perfection is the enemy of good, but excellence is the mindset. In other words, see, many times you don't need perfect, you only need good. All right? So the problem with many people is that they want perfect and then they throw away the good they could have done. All right? So perfection is the enemy of good, and watch out for that enemy called perfection. because perfection is an enemy. Every time you actually wait for perfection, you are losing the opportunity to make good of what you have. Thank you very much. All right, so you want to clap.